Come on, bro. Seriously.
Now look at Mossy. Really? Oh, so that's how you're gonna play it. You gonna do this? Okay, fine. That's all I needed. That's all I needed for him to do that. And it became personal with me.
What's really good, my people? Welcome into No Catch Up Sports Talk via Chicago. I am your host, Sean Little. Big Nick the Quick with me as always. April 20th, 2021. The year is moving. I got the beanie on. Shout out Nick. You know he likes to talk about the weather. I got the beanie on because it's snowing today.
What's going on out here?
It was brisk out there today.
It was rough out there today.
Yeah, so I'm like, let me go ahead and rock the beanie real quick. Before I bring Nick into full screen, let's break down what we're going to talk about. First off, First Take Tuesday. Rest in peace, George Floyd. The Chauvin verdict came through, all guilty. We'll touch on that for a quick second before we get into the sports. Steph Curry is absolutely out of his mind right now, going ballistic. I tweeted yesterday he's completely blacked out. He's not here. He's on a completely different planet, and that's exactly what's going on. We're going to break down Steph, what it means, what we think about the performance. The MVP talk is trickling in as well, so we'll talk about that. Jokic has a lot to say. That game last night
was insane.
Insane, yeah.
Insane.
So we'll touch on Steph a bunch. Then we wanted to touch. We'll have a little NBA roundup in there as well. After we touch on Steph, we'll leak into the rest of the NBA roundup. We'll then go into this Super League talk, and we're gonna angle it towards some American stuff. And I have a video I want to show, which I thought was interesting. Yep. So we'll talk about the European Super League. It seems to be in shambles now and is done, but what that meant, what it would mean, our thoughts on that. And then we'll probably get up out of here, man. Big Nick the Quick, what's happening?
What's the business? What's going on?
Man, how you doing, bro?
Good, man. Good. Obviously, a pretty heavy day today with everything going on, man. But I think, I guess, with lack of a better term, it turned out the way that we wanted to. Wish it didn't have to happen at all, but could have been a lot worse, right? Had it went the other way, man, shit would have been going crazy out here. I was thinking about that, what would it have looked like had the verdict came back not guilty? But if you watch the trial, I couldn't see any way that man wasn't guilty. And you really need to see the trial. You saw the videotape.
Yeah, you saw the tape.
You saw the tape.
Yeah, man, I got emotional when the verdict came out. I wasn't even really expecting that. I kind of expected the guilty to come across, but you never know.
You never know.
To see him get walked off in the shackles, in the you don't go home anymore now.
Nope.
Going home shit is over with. It's
over with, man. Yeah.
So that I got emotional there when they walked him to the back. You know what I'm saying? You're going home throughout the trial. You're doing a lot of stuff during the trial, but once that verdict comes over, it's all over for that.
It's over with. Yep.
Yeah. So I got emotional there, but it's some justice for George for sure. We got a long way to go, but that was I think that was a good start, I guess you could say. I do really feel that way. I know people are like, there's nothing to celebrate. We have so much more work to do. Look at what happened. Look at what had to happen for us to get a guilty verdict.
Right.
But I still think, listen, there was times where with all that happening, the guilty verdict's still not coming. So right. I think that's still a step in the right direction.
Definitely. I'm coming on both sides of it, definitely a step in the right direction. But at the same time, it's did it take a video that was that egregious and it was really the length of it. You know what I mean? I just think, especially when they play in the court, it ended up being a 9-minute video as opposed to the 8-minute video that we all saw. Does it take that much for it to happen? It also makes you think back, historically, it's man, prior to videotape, shit, you know what I'm saying? When our parents were coming up, and obviously before that, it's that you definitely weren't even getting to trial. You know what I mean? Folks were going home at night after doing stuff like that. But on the positive, or again, whatever side, look, man, it was guilty, and I think we've seen it go the other way. Right. That's the major thing. So definitely, rest in peace to George Floyd. Shout out to his family. Prayers, everything like that with them, and hopefully we start to see some change.
Absolutely. Anything else you got for First Take Tuesday? Anything else been tickling at you that you want to talk about?
I think it's hard to have any other takes right now when Steph Curry is doing what he's doing.
Straight like
you know what I mean? That's pretty much it. I can say my first take would be the game last night between Denver and
Memphis.
And Memphis is one of the best games I've seen in a while, which was right after the game between Phoenix and Milwaukee, which was an awesome game. So, and then you had the Steph Curry situation. So last night, I mean, what an awesome night of NBA basketball. If you didn't get a chance to tune in, last night was why we watch, why we fuck with the league so heavy.
Right, exactly.
So much going on.
Exactly right. All right, well, let's jump into the boy. I mean, this guy, Steph Curry, right now is completely out of pocket. And let me ask you this, just to kick it off. What do you think where is this coming from? Is he just hot and going and getting baskets? Is he trying to prove a point? Is he trying to carry these guys to the playoffs? What if you had to put one thing on it? Like, they have a shot to even sneak into the 6. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're only 3 games back of Portland in the 6.
Yeah.
Do you think it's him just trying to put these guys on his back? Is it just like, man, I just gotta get busy?
Nope. I don't even think it's that, because if you listen to his statements, he's just talking about how carefree and how much fun he's having. I think it's no pressure. This dude has been in the pressure cooker the last 5 to 6 years, right? Every game matters, everything matters, and he's obviously delivered in that situation. He didn't cower under none of that. But I think to have a year like this year, especially with last year getting hurt, 8-9 games into the year, he comes out this year, there's no expectations. It's like, yo, I'm just going to go out there and I'm going to have fun. I'm going to hoop. I have 3 rings. I have 2 MVPs. I have teammates coming back next year. I got a young fellow that we took 2nd overall. So I just think if I had to point to one thing, it's carefree and joy. He's just having a good time, man. I don't even think he's thinking about this 6th seed. Like, I don't think it's like that. I don't think he's up there like, oh, yeah, we're so close to the playoffs. I'm about to get on their ass and see if we can make a run. I think he's saying, I'm going to go out there and do my thing. I'm going to have a great time. If we win, great. If we lose, I'm going to be upset. But, like, it's playing with house money. The definition of playing with house money is 2021 Steph Curry run. Because it's all good. And he's performing. And he's hooping. And obviously it's working.
Is it just because it's one of those situations, like, no matter what, it's always a W. I guess perception, like, he has nothing, like, he's never going to get slighted because the team, he has nobody on his team.
There's nobody
on his team. He's just out there firing away. And he also has 3 rings, 2 MVPs. So it's kind of just like he's just in his bag.
Nothing to prove, but I love hooping. He loves hooping, right? So it's like, I'm just going to go out there and I'm going to hoop. I'm not going to force it. I'm not going to stress myself out over it. Steve Kerr already told you a couple months ago, he doesn't give a shit. He's going to give me the These guys are out here. I'm just going to go out there and I'm going to do my thing. So I think it's almost the exact opposite. Anybody who's like, oh, Steph Curry's in the war room hunkering down, like gearing up for a playoff run. Like, nah, it's the exact opposite. He's probably out to dinner with his wife and kids right now, kicking it somewhere in the Bay, vaccinated, chilling. And like, we got Brad Beal on Wednesday. Oh, okay, cool, whatever. I'm not even thinking about them boys. I'm gonna show up on Wednesday and I might go out for another 50. I might go for 25, but it's all good. I'm gonna have fun doing it.
Listen to Steph's last 9 games: 49 versus Philly, 47 versus Boston, 33 versus Cleveland, 42 versus Oklahoma City, 53 against Denver, 38 against Houston, 32 against Washington, 41 against Milwaukee, 37 against Atlanta, and then we had last night.
Yeah. So, hey,
he scored 49.
And I think they've won 6 of those 10 games, 6 to 10 of those games. So it's lovely. Right. It's all great, man. So I think, and if we're getting on stats, I mean, the statistics around this run are just absolutely crazy. So going in last night with 49 points, first player in NBA history, age 33 or older, with 11 straight 30-plus games. That was a Kobe record.
Yeah.
Finished with 49 tonight in a win versus 76ers. It was his 5th 40-point game in April. Passes Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant for most 40-point games in a month by a player age 33 or older. Boom, breaking more records, right? This is great. Last 5 games, 49 points, 10 threes, 47 points, 11 threes, 33 points, 4 threes, 42 points, 11 threes, 53 points, 10 threes. Cooking, hooping, doing my thing, not forcing shit. Steph Curry has 6 games with 10-plus threes this season. No other player has more than 5 in their career.
Yo, see, repeat that.
This is crazy.
Repeat that for the people.
Yes. Steph Curry has 6 games with 10-plus threes this season. No other player has more than 5 in their career. He has 4 in April. 4 out of his last 5.
4 of his last 5.
And we're talking about careers. Clay is second most ever with 5. Steph Curry's updated April stats. 40.7 points per game.
Let me put that up on the screen. I got you right here. Go ahead.
On 55, 50, 91 splits in 10 games. He's 72 of 143 from 3. So this isn't like Russell Westbrook going out there and saying, hey, I'm going to go 8 for 32. Like, he is shooting 55% from the field, 50% from 3. And, if you foul him, he's converting 91% of those. So he's shooting better than he normally does, right? So he's just hot. He's just hot. The hoop is probably huge. But you know what? There's no pressure. There's no external factors, man. It's just he's just in the gym. There could be nobody there. There could be somebody there. It doesn't matter. He's just in the gym. You're watching. If everybody could be so lucky, most dudes in the league are probably like, man, it's great to chase rings and all that. I'd love to have a year like that where I can just go out there and do my fucking thing. You know what I mean? And just unwind. I think that if you were to watch him at the crib, I'm telling you, he's kicking it. He's sipping something from Napa Valley, and it's all lovely.
Yeah. 46 threes in a 5-game stretch is insane.
He leads the league in 72 for 143 in 10 games. 72 for 143.
He's shooting basically half a Clay. He's shooting 50% from 3.
He's shooting 50%. 72 for 143 in over 10 games. 72 threes on its own. I don't care if he took 900 threes, hitting 72 of them over 10 games. It's amazing. He's taking 143 of them. So, man, he's just cooking. And I'm telling you, it's pressure free. He loves it. He's so happy right now.
I saw something. There was a stat. I think it might have been even Nick Wright put it out, that something about in April, or pretty much the stretch that Curry's on, he had more threes, or right around the same amount of threes that Larry Bird had from like 84 to 87.
Yeah, in April he has more than Larry had in 4 years.
Yeah, it was some crazy stat. Yeah. So yeah, man, shout out Steph Curry. He's out there doing it. I really wish Clay was out and around to help.
Definitely.
Just to see where they could kind of take it, and just another team in the West to add in the mix.
It'd be a lot of fun, but I also got no tears for the Warriors. You know what I mean? Like, I got no tears for them. I think I'm actually enjoying watching this, man. Like, I really think, like, yeah, I mean, it would be cool to see Clay. I want to see Clay. Like, I think the situation with Clay sucks because, he wants to be out there. But look, you see Clay out there, man. He's supporting this guy. He's at almost every game. Like, those boys will be back next year. Wiseman will be back next year, and they'll be back competing for titles. But for now, let's just enjoy what we're seeing, man, because you might never see it again. You will never see it again.
And if you realize Steph is now leading the league in scoring.
Yep.
I wonder what he was at the start of the month, but I know it wasn't.
And he plays Beal tomorrow.
He would have had to go ballistic like this to take the scoring lead. So that's man.
And he plays Brad Beal tomorrow. So it's a duel of the league's top 2 scorers. So man, I love it. I'm Warriors are a must-see TV if they weren't already, for sure.
What are your thoughts on the little bit of MVP spattering? Like, look.
I hate that this is coming up, because
just leave it. Don't do that.
It makes someone like me, who doesn't believe that he should be the league MVP, look like I'm hating. And I'm not at all, right? Like, I think you said it great last week when we were talking about Chris Paul, and you were like, that one guy that they invite to the Heisman is like the 5th guy.
Yeah.
I see more of Steph Curry in that conversation than Chris Paul. Chris Paul, to me, should be invited to the fucking main table at this point, because they went into Milwaukee last night and handled business. And you just don't.
Oh, we talked about this last week.
I'm just saying, into Milwaukee in April and handled business.
No, like this is, and that's
handled business.
And this is very new to them too. Yeah, this is not something.
New. This is the team that go on the roads and kick people's asses and drop 137 on Milwaukee. Giannis had 40 or 38, and they still lost. So I mean, like, that's why I think, like, the Chris Paul thing. Like, we can go for hours. You give us 2 hours, I can tell you about why I think Chris Paul is really creeping up with the number 2 MVP spot. It has to go to Joker, but number 2 is Chris Paul. But that's neither here nor there. For Steph Curry, like, he's that guy that I think you invite. Is like that last dude, but it's hard for me to take a team that's 500 and have their guy be the MVP, regardless of the numbers. But that's as pro Steph Curry as I can make that sound, because it's nothing against Steph Curry. It's all on his team. The fact that they are 500 is a testament to him, and he's absolutely extremely valuable to that team. If they make it to the playoffs and make some noise, I guarantee you nobody wants to play them, obviously. But to me, like, I can't put him in the MVP. It's almost like the Westbrook thing. Like, Westbrook averaged a triple-double, but they were a 6th seed. So you have a lot of people who are like, like it's not. Yeah.
You talk about the first run though.
The first triple-double.
Yeah, you got to give it to him.
Yeah, statistically, it was
just because it was so abnormal. It was just never been done
once. Yeah, like it was Oscar Robertson, right? So like, but I think the Steph thing, like, absolutely invite him to the conversation, bring him the thing, but don't put me at Steph Curry on the MVP of the league at this point. Now, if they make a run and they win like 10 straight, and these boys are in like the 5th seed, 4th seed, let's start talking. But I think they're going to finish around 500. It's a 500 ball club. And that's fine, but let's just enjoy this, man. We don't have to create division. Yeah. Where are you on it with him and the MVP?
Yeah, I think he's in the conversation, but I think you could be in the conversation and not win.
Yeah,
and like it or not, bro, I'm also in the camp of it's just not gonna happen just because he's already has two. It's that same conversation with Jordan, with LeBron. Like, you could give this motherfucker to LeBron every rip, right? But
LeBron doesn't get the same amount of media sentiment and positive. People love Steph Curry. I think that's why he's in the conversation, because people would give him a 3rd MVP, because people love him. He's so likable to the media. Yeah. LeBron, it's different, man. LeBron hasn't won all those MVPs, but he should be getting them. Because for whatever reason, and we talk about it, we don't do it here on the No Catch Up podcast, but for some reason, people try to find something wrong with LeBron. But to your point, you could 1,000% give LeBron James the MVP every year he's been in the fucking league, and nobody would blink an eye, because it's true. He's the most valuable player in the NBA. Yeah. But I disagree with that. I think Steph could get the 3rd one, because I think that the media loves Steph. Loves him. If they didn't love him, they'd be like, well, the team's only 500. You'd be hearing a lot of that. I'm telling you. You know what it sounds like when they don't love you.
It's really hard for the team is only 500 conversation. I'm kind of wishy-washy on it, right? Like, obviously, you want to go get W's. But in team sports, so much goes into getting wins. And, like, what more do you want this guy to do? You know what I mean? Like, so
that's why we shouldn't have this conversation, because it makes it sound like you're devaluing whatever he's doing, and I just don't want to do that. So, like, I don't think he's the league MVP. I think he should get a seat at the table, but I don't think he should be, like, seriously thought of as the winner, right? I think it's Jokic. And then, I'm dead ass. I'm really close to putting Chris Paul as a second in the league MVP candidate. And we can have that conversation another time. We'll see how it shakes out. Yeah, I think Chris Paul is fucking phenomenal. I've been asleep, apparently, on like how good this. Like, I guess you really saw it last year in Oklahoma City, because that team had absolutely zero business getting to the playoffs.
That team was shit.
Yeah,
that team was shit.
And he was a throwaway over there. They just sent him over there as salary filler, right? And he's like, no, we're gonna win fucking ball games. I don't fuck around. And then now you put him around some talent. Like, if you watch
that's actually exactly what's happened. Look, so you dump Chris Paul with absolutely nobody, and they go to essentially a rookie and Gilgeous Alexander was like that was
second or third year. Yeah, but he's just a good player. Yeah,
he's a good player, right? So they stick you with SGA, Lou Dort, who AKA is Lil Gary Payton, but Sun Devil. Yeah, who is but like who was a nobody, right? Like, yeah, for sure. He played right, and then nobody. They make the playoffs. If you drop CP3 off with some talent, they're 2 in the West.
Yeah,
and maybe and quite possibly they could be. You could talk about them as the best team in the West.
Yeah, I mean, they went to Milwaukee and handled business against. Yeah, I mean, for sure, and that's all Chris Paul. Like, watch them play. Watch guys like Aiden and the confidence, even defensively, offensively. If you watch Chris Paul, he's communicating. He's orchestrating. You want to communicate. They're the best defensive team in the NBA, or second best to the Knicks. Like, well, what does that tell you? That's Chris Paul coming in there and injecting basketball intelligence into the situation. You watch fourth quarters. You watch the last 5 minutes of the game. How do you handle this? Do we foul in this situation? He's telling you what to do. You just go out there and do it. So you got talented guys like Book, like Aiden, like Bridges, right, who are there. Then you got smart veterans like your boy Crowder, right? Like guys like that. You bring those guys together, man. I'm telling you, Chris Paul, you really got to look at an MVP. It's beyond the numbers. It's beyond the numbers. Like imagine what you're getting outside the court, in the film room, in practice, on the plane, the wisdom that he's given a Book. Like, hey man, you got so much fucking talent. You should be killing folks every night, and we should be winning ball games. So yeah, shout out Steph Curry, man. I don't want to take anything away from Steph Curry. The chef is cooking. If I have my Boy RD hat, you know what I mean, I wear it. But yeah.
Yeah, shout out Cody in the comments. He said, what about co-MVPs? When's the last co-MVP we got? We had Tim Duncan and man, that was a long time ago. Wasn't that a co-MVP?
Did he win a co-MVP? I know there was a co-Heisman when Desmond Howard won it.
No, Desmond Howard.
Charles Woodson, right?
No, he won that straight out too. I know there's co-MVPs when McNair won the NFL MVP. It was McNair and maybe I'm tweaking on.
Oh, McNair might have been real rest in peace, Aaron McNair.
Aaron McNair's definitely was a co-MVP.
Yeah, it's whack.
There hasn't been any NBA co-MVP. I thought Tim Duncan won a co-MVP with somebody else. And Allen Iverson, maybe?
Yeah, we'll check that out. No, Allen Iverson won that. You want to talk about taking guys to the playoffs that had no business? He took those boys to the finals and had zero business.
I might be blacked out like CP.
That might be a good year because you can give it to Embiid for like the dominance, and then you give it to Chris Paul for the. I don't know, man.
This guy Jokic is just going ballistic.
Joker. I mean, Joker should be number one. I mean, that's why. Yeah, Joker.
Look that up. See if there's been a co-NBA MVP. I might be tweaking.
I don't see anything about it.
Maybe I was just jamming Aaron McNair's co-MVP in the NFL into the NBA. But
who did he co-MVP with?
I want to say it was
Kurt Warner.
I don't know. Look that up too. Shout out Aaron McNair, man.
Well, rest in peace, man.
I want to say off the top of my head, I want to say like. Kurt Warner might sound right.
Manning and McNair.
Manning, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yep. We got
Manning. the regular season
most overrated player in the world.
Yeah, I actually really believe that.
Meanwhile, I'm over here still going to Super Bowls.
Yeah. So look at that. That's a whole nother podcast. But let's talk about. Real quick, let's talk about Steph's legacy real quick. Mm-hmm. Best point guard of all time. It's chatter.
Yeah, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
I have a really big issue with the point guard talk because I have this love for like an actual point guard and not your number one scoring guy that's called a point guard because he has the rock the most.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, someone said it on NBA radio this morning. They were like, Steph Curry and Magic Johnson don't play the same position.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like Steph Curry and Chris Paul don't play the same position.
Steph Curry and John Stockton don't play the same position. It's just like it's different, right? So, but hey, that's the new age. Maybe that's old. That's old thinking.
If you told me tomorrow my point guard is Steph Curry, you're not going to hear anything from me about it. So yeah,
I think it's almost like
but yeah, it's.
But it's almost just like just call me a guard.
Yeah,
I'm a guard. He's a guard.
Yeah, I like guard forward.
You know what I mean?
Big. Guard forward big. Let's get rid of all this other stuff. You're a guard. You're a forward. You're big.
Yes, exactly. Give me the all NBA shit. Like.
Because, like, the way I look at it, like, if I look at Giannis, what position does Giannis actually play?
Yeah, he's a forward.
He's a forward, but he handles the ball for them. He sometimes plays center. It's like, yeah, he's a 3, I guess. 4, 5.
Right. That's what I'm saying, man.
You know what I mean? Like, it depends on the possession, right?
It's interesting because it's like every part of the NBA has kind of evolved and moved on, except we still, like, slot these positions just because you kind of have to, I guess, because there's 5 slots on the floor, but man, he's a guard. Yeah. James Harden is a guard. Kevin Durant is a forward. Anthony Davis is a point guard.
Apparently. No cap. Draymond Green, point guard. Like,
you know what I'm saying?
Jokic, point center.
Jokic is, you can't give him a position.
Kobe White, none of the above.
Like, so just like stop with like I think that's where I get a little like
It's too much.
Pissed off is not the word, but it's like he's not a point guard. He's a 2. It's like this guy's a guard.
Look, not all point guards are facilitators like that. That's fine. I mean, who was a Bulls point guard during the run? We didn't have like a point guard that you would look at and be like, oh yeah, that guy's like your traditional, set it up type guy. Like, I mean, you had different guys that kind of run out. That whole offense was based on not really having a fucking point guard. Phil Jackson never had a point guard. Derek Fisher was a specialist. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like it's overrated, man. Now, what you can't do though, and this is a whole nother conversation, is try to force someone into that role of being the lead ball handler. Well, like what the Bulls are trying to do is Zach LaVine, for instance.
Yeah.
You can't just be like, hey, you go play our version of fourth quarter point guard because it goes wrong. So I think Steph, you can absolutely give him the ball. I mean, in the fourth quarter, he can run the show for you. So like, let's not say, oh, he can't run pointer. He's not.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Yeah. No, but I'm saying but he can do that. Like, whereas like LaVine, certain guys, other guys that you can't put into that role. But you also can't tell Chris Paul to go out and hit 12 threes.
Yeah, exactly. It's interesting. It's actually interesting because then, but per that snippet you just said, then he is a point guard because he can handle the rock coming down at the end of the game. I consider
him a point guard. He's just not like your tradition. He's not like he's not looking to facilitate like that. He's looking to score, but I mean, he's still going to get you his dimes. He's an excellent ball handler. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
And it's interesting because I think this is actually a really interesting conversation because then guys like that who get assists, it's so much easier for them to facilitate because their scoring ability garners so much attention.
Right. Yeah.
Like it's nothing for James to get assists because he's literally throwing
want
lobs.
Him to pass. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's a victory. Get the ball out of his hands because
Exactly.
Yeah,
he's either dumping it, he's throwing lobs, or he's kicking it to guys that are wide open. You know what I'm saying? It's almost for guys like, say, John Stockton or whoever else, or pass first guys, Rondo. It's so much more impressive when they get 9 dimes because like everyone knows they're gonna orchestrate the offense and dish it, and they're dishing it and still running the offense, and they're still like playmaking for buckets.
Yeah, but I guess like with Rondo though, Rondo could spend 42 minutes not looking for a shot, right? So I mean, if all you're doing is sitting around,
no, but that's what I'm saying,
looking to pass, it might actually be easier. Who knows?
Those are different. It's a
different skill set, man. It's all about who you have around you. I mean, I don't want to say Steph couldn't work on any team because I think at this point, yes. But, he was in a great situation for him to develop as a playmaker because of how that team was structured, right? So
I think he could do anything anywhere.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. To get to this level, though, it was a great situation for him to be involved in, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely.
At this point, like you could drop him on fucking the Bulls. I mean, not anybody. Yeah,
the Bulls for sure.
The Magic, Orlando. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's gonna make it happen. So let me ask you this though. Okay, who's the worst team in the NBA?
The Magic.
Okay, would the Magic be better with Steph Curry or Chris Paul?
Steph Curry because they have nobody over there, and they could use a lot of scoring. I mean, but that's actually a good question. Like,
who do the Thunder have?
Maybe Chris Paul brings out a bunch out of Wendell and Terrence Ross, and
he'll bring something out of Wendell.
Gary Harris.
He's not going for that. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Terrence Ross is ready.
That's actually a really good question.
I think that's and like it's not.
Now, okay. Now, if you flipped Steph for Chris Paul in Phoenix, they're not as good.
They're not as good.
They're not as good.
They're not as good.
Now, if you flipped Chris Paul and sent him to Golden State, they're not as good either. So it's situational. They're not as
good. Yeah, it is situational for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, if you put, I think putting Steph in Phoenix for sure. Like it would be like, hey, it'd be fun. They'd be a hell of a lot of fun. They'd score a lot of points, but some of the things that I just highlighted, like especially on the defensive end. Yeah, he's not bringing that, which is, again, it's not a knock. I feel like I got to keep saying it's not a knock on Steph. It's an interesting conversation. That's what I'm saying. So when you talk about point guards, like, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. You know what I'm saying? What do you need? Like, it's what you need at that particular point in time, what you like, whatever your cup of tea is. But yeah, I think you're right by saying like let's do away with this trying to put it in a box of a certain position because you did that with centers all the time. Like Tim Duncan, he's a power forward, he's a center. Who fucking cares? He's a multi-time champion and he busts your ass. So like,
and he's a major issue. Yeah,
it's a major issue. Like no one, they're not sitting around in meeting rooms. Phil Jackson wasn't like, "Hey, is Tim playing center or power forward?" He's like, "Is Tim playing? Okay, let's try to figure out how to stop him." So
cool. No, I like it.
I'd like to see in the comments people tell us that Chris Paul or Steph Curry answer how you guys feel about that because I would like to know.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting comparison just to throw them on different teams and kind of see where they land. Anything else in the NBA you want to talk about, East or West side?
No, just a great day last night. I think, man, the games are getting great. I'm getting fired up for the playoffs. I'm getting fired up to see how everything's going to shake out. LeBron
Philly wins the East.
Yes, Philly wins the East.
Philly wins the East.
Philly wins the East. Boston is sus still.
Man, I really need to see this Brooklyn playoff mode squad. I cannot wait to see this.
People are still telling me like, yeah, no, it's gonna be fine. I'm like, didn't KD go down 2 nights ago again?
Man, I can't wait to see this. Currently, Brooklyn would have to play Miami. That would be interesting. Apparently, Tyler Hero
is what? Is that too much fun?
Something's going on over there, and
with
just him. Period. He's not playing very well.
Oh, so he's not playing well.
Yeah.
I thought you heard some chatter. I'm like, wait, are we breaking something? Is he at the Clevelander too much?
No, nothing like that. But just he hasn't been playing that well. Duncan Robinson hasn't taken that next step. Jimmy is kind of doing what he's got to do.
They should have traded Robinson.
Can you imagine James Harden?
Oh my God, yeah.
And
if you can keep him inside the house, yeah.
Apparently that was a real possibility, but they didn't want to give up a couple people. So we'll see what happens there. But Philly, we'll see.
Yeah,
maybe this is the year Milwaukee's like we don't want to win the East. Let's get to the playoffs and then we'll start cracking heads.
Yeah, man. Buttle dropped those great playoff game plans that he's known for.
But hey, that's it's possible, right? Because
Giannis, go right.
I can't wait for the West too. So
I think this is the great thing about this series. There really is there's no answer to the who is the team because the Lakers have been down now for a month. I know. Does AD come back tonight, tomorrow? AD comes back this week, right?
This week, yeah. They said.
So they need to get those boys back and just have them just get into shape. Which is never going to be a problem with LeBron. But just get those guys back into playoff shape. And if they go into the playoffs healthy and you keep those guys for all series, they're still the favorite, right? But I think when you look out the rest of the West, when you look at the East, it's wide open. This is what we wanted. And then you got the excitement of the play-in game. I'll watch them play-in games. Why not? Let's go.
The play-in is going to be rocking.
Yeah. Could you imagine?
The West is Dallas, Memphis, Golden State, San Antonio currently.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like, come on, man. Sign me up for that. And then on the East, it's not as competitive, but it's still Miami. You get LaMelo back and Charlotte, Indiana.
Back,
and then
Gordon
the Bulls are the 10 right now. So that gives us some things to watch as well.
That West thing is crazy. There's a lot of different things that happen in the West. I know the Spurs suck, but Greg Popovich game planning for one game, he's one of the best coaches ever in NBA history, right? You got the Warriors. You want to see Steph Curry in a one-game situation?
No.
Memphis, you want to see Ja? Come on. Ja got held out the playoffs last year. Dallas, are they coming along?
What's funny, bro? The funniest shit I've seen in this whole Steph thing is I saw a still picture when he was playing Boston, and they were literally trapping him a step over half court.
Yeah.
It's just like
he's liable to pull up from anywhere over that line.
That's how locked he is. They're picking him up in a trap 2 steps over half.
And you can't guard him because you can't stop him from creating the little bit of space that he needs unless you literally like bear hug him. You know what I mean? Like he only needs that much. So it's like, no matter how tight we play him, he's gonna naturally get that separation.
They play Washington. His next game is they play Washington tomorrow. That'll be
scoring title game.
Scoring title game.
Scoring title. If I'm Brad Beal, I'm just going for buckets. But they've made a little run here. They made a little.
They've been playing better. Yeah, they've been playing a lot better.
Meanwhile, the Bulls are over here playing against trash teams, and I don't even. I'm not mad. I don't want to be mad about anything with the Bulls. It's just it's been hard to watch the last couple weeks.
It has been. Yeah,
it's been like difficult to watch.
It has been just because the move was to win now.
Yeah,
and has not been happening. So
still feel good though. We'll see. Got a whole off season coming up.
I agree. All right, let's move over to shout out Steph Curry, man. That boy cooking. Make sure you watch it. Must see TV. Anytime that boy on the floor right now is must see TV. Make sure you have it on. Make sure you tuned in. You're not fucking around. You watching and enjoying it because these stretches, like the stretch that Kobe had, 15 years ago now, 2006?
Yeah.
Like these stretches, he had that stretch, and Kobe played, obviously won multiple titles after that, but he never had a stretch like that again.
Yeah.
And Steph probably won't have a stretch like this.
I mean, look at the shooting numbers.
Look at the numbers, right? So, enjoy this while it's happening. Sit back, relax, catch that.
Yep.
All right, let's move over to this Super League talk. And it's actually a really interesting situation. For those who aren't aware.
And can I say something real quick on this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sean is a soccer guy. I'm not. I'm assuming our listeners are probably 50-50. So part of the reason I did want to hit on this is a lot of people who have no idea what's going on. I know I've hit you a couple times.
No, and I'm gonna and then we could talk about it in like an NFL, NBA aspect type of thing. Yep. So essentially, European Super League, all the biggest soccer clubs in Europe outside of Bayern Munich, Paris Saint-Germain, PSG, where like Neymar plays. And there was no German squads, and PSG did not sign up. But there was Manchester United, Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, Inter Milan, Juventus, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid. So all the big clubs in Europe signed up for the Super League. They were essentially going to break off, have their own league, make their own money, get their own TV rights, and they weren't going to – no trickle-down economics. We're taking all the bread, forget about these little squads. For example, like a Sheffield United or something like that in the English Premier League. Just the small squads were not. Y'all aren't going to eat off our. We're pulling. Y'all not pulling any weight. We're out of here.
Right.
So it actually fell through. Teams started withdrawing today. The European Super League idea has now fallen apart. Fans were mad about it for the most part, saying that, we don't agree. This shouldn't be as business as you guys are making it. And I actually found a really interesting video. I'm an Arsenal fan. This guy Troops is from London, an Arsenal fan. He's now over on Barstool. He does all the Arsenal stuff. But listen to what he had to say. I thought this was interesting.
Arsenal have an American owner. Man United have an American owner. Liverpool have an American owner. Chelsea have a Russian owner, but they are run by Bruce Buck, who is a fucking American as well, blood.
Genius.
You have fucking Joe Lewis, who runs Tottenham. He's a fucking American. Not only is a Tottenham owner makes him a prick, he's a fucking American as well, blood. You understand? So when you look at the whole gist of it, and then you see who's on the board, Joe Glazer, fucking American, blood. You understand? It's you, man, blood. You man are trying to come over here and ruin our thing and turn our thing into your dead thing. You understand? We're not having none of that, blood.
But it's called
We're not having none of that.
Super.
NBA is a business. NFL is a business. Football is a sport. Yeah.
What about what a rant?
So, I thought you're muted up, Nick. But I thought that was interesting. It was like, because essentially, too. And just to give you a little background on this as well, a lot of these European soccer teams, you could get tickets for pretty cheap. It's not about like making money. It's about like the support of the club and the fans and all that, right? You can get, for example, the team I support is Arsenal. They're North London based, and they had the highest season tickets in the Premier League at like £60 a game. And people were like losing their mind that it was that expensive, right? You guys know in the States, come on, man. If you want to get season tickets, face value for some of these tickets to go to Soldier Field, Lower Bowl, are $250, $300 a game. No question, right? So I thought it was interesting that Troops brought up the American that have now infiltrated European soccer and own some of these big clubs are now trying to run it like we do over in America, where they make a lot more money. What do you think?
So yeah, a couple things on that. I didn't know. I knew the Glazers, and we talked about that earlier today. I knew the Glazers owned Manchester United. I didn't realize there were that many other American owners overseas. I just thought it was just the Glazers. I remember that was a huge deal when they bought the team, because a lot of Manchester United fans were not too pleased about that because of American owner. Couple things on what he said. I get where he's going with it, because I think it's more of like the American greed that he might be pointing at, but. Yeah. To sit up here and act like soccer is not a business when FIFA is fucking one of the most corrupt like, watch FIFA, look up Sepp Blatter, look up the World Cup and what you have to go through to get that, and the accommodations and how they just come in and rake these World Cup hosts over the coals, essentially. So just look up Brazil, anything you want to, right? The stadiums in the middle of the jungle that they never used again, and all types of stuff. Soccer is 1,000% of business. It's huge businesses. These are some of the highest paid athletes in the world. That money doesn't come from pure love. It comes from being involved in it.
You said the love. You said the million don't come from love.
The jerseys are walking. You don't have a team name in front of. You don't have a team name on a jersey. You have Rakuten. All right. You have fucking Jeep. You have whatever it might be. Right. You're literally walking sponsorships like a NASCAR. So with that being said, I get where he's going from as far as the Americans are coming in and fucking with the tradition. And that's what he doesn't like. And I understand that completely. So I just don't like when he's like, it's not a business, it's a sport. The NBA is, like they're all fucking businesses. They're all businesses. Yeah. If they trust me, soccer does not operate at a loss. Yeah, I that was it, just on what he said, right? You're asking me about what he said. So he really caught me off guard when I caught that last part of it when he tried to say that.
he was, I think, more of what. Yeah, I think you got it dead on. He knows soccer's a business, but he's saying there's a lot more heart left in it than what's in the NBA and the NFL.
Sure,
like, NFL is a business for real.
You could probably equate it closer to like baseball, right? Where it's like the fans really, it's not as, I don't know. Yeah. I get what he's saying, man. The NFL is the worst. If you compare it, the NFL is 1,000% business. There's no sport left. It is business. So that I get where he's saying, like, I don't want this to come over and be like the NFL, because then the fans just truly don't matter. And from my sense is that the fans in soccer, they do matter, right? They support the clubs, and that's important to the clubs themselves because they're these historical institutions. So I'd understand why the fans will be up in arms about this. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on a super league? So, for example, what we wanted to get into here was, what if the NFL is, I don't think you could, the NFL is null and void here purely off the fact that the parity's there and the cap is so tough, and it's anybody can win the Super Bowl, anybody can be really competitive, anybody can get in the playoffs and make some real noise.
For sure.
Flipping off a couple players, flipping off. You could have 5 wins, and next thing you know, have 11. For sure.
Tampa Bay.
Yeah. So the NFL is a little different. But I think the biggest example, what we came across was like college ball. If Alabama, Clemson, Auburn, Florida, USC, the big dogs that are always in Ohio State, that are all Michigan, that are always
where there's like true haves versus have-nots.
Exactly. If they dipped from the NCAA and kind of started doing their own thing and had their own league, that would be like the comparison. What do you think about the thoughts of a super league? Because I think the biggest thing for the fans was like, there's still big-time fans that love the smaller clubs that, it's cool when Manchester United has to go to a little town and play these professional matches.
Yeah.
They don't always win, but they do most of the time. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like you said, it's fun. It brings excitement and it's tradition. Yeah, I don't necessarily agree. I mean, look, man, this is like one of those things where like the capitalist in me is like, oh yeah, for sure. I'm
Do what you got to do.
Do what you got to do. It's kill or be killed, right? And I struggle with this a lot of like some certain social shit, right?
Right.
At the same time, it's like, no, that's not cool, man. Like, I think it's cool how they have the league set up, and like you said, I don't watch the game, but even just talking to you earlier today, and you're like, yo, Manchester United going into some small town in the middle of nowhere in England and playing against some other team, and like the excitement that brings, the tradition that it brings, the chance that if that team beats Manchester United and their super high payroll and their big flashy this and that, that town is cracking that night, right? And the biggest comparison is college, right? If, I don't know, whoever it is, Vanderbilt beats Alabama in the SEC game, yo, it's cracking in Nashville, right? Like it's lit on that campus. They're having a great time. So like that stuff matters, man. Like I think when you start making it all about money, you do have an NFL type situation where it's like,
you just lose the
we don't even hide the fact that it's about money. There have been times like you have people who actively don't watch the NFL because of the NFL, right? Like think about that. Like, so you don't want that to become the situation with soccer, right? As bad as FIFA is, again, I can't stress FIFA is awful, but at the same time, you don't want it to become like that. You don't want it to become just about profits and these awful people running these clubs and just really sucking the life out of these fans and tripling the cost of tickets, because that's what would happen, right? If you got the owner of the Bucks owns a man and he's saying, hey, in Tampa, I can charge $250 for you to walk into the building, another $50 for you to park, but here I am with this Manchester United thing, and I can't even charge $50, and this is the most popular sports club in the world outside the United States. Yeah, so it's you don't want it to become like that. So I do think that you should keep the traditional structure. I would not want college to be LSU, Alabama. I would want it to become the SEC plus the four other teams that matter in college football. So like, yeah, I wouldn't want it to be like that, man. So I think it's a good thing that they back down. But like I had asked you earlier, was this just a flex? Just to like for them to ultimately be like, hey, later on down the line, we're gonna want our way, or revenue sharing needs to be looked at. I don't know. But
I think that's probably the conversation that needs to happen.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like that. Yeah, we can leave. We almost did in 2021. So like, you know what I'm saying? Like we need to figure something out. So it's two sides to it, man. The business part of me is like, yeah, fuck it, go make your money. You have the right. It's your business. The other side is like, nah, man, tradition matters, and like some purity in sport matters. And then what happens when everybody's trying to spend their whole time just trying to get to this? This is the thing, right?
What about the thing that makes the NFL crazy is just like what we said, anybody could win, right? The NBA can get lopsided when certain superstars go to certain spots. Fair, okay, right? But for example, there's some of these teams outside of Juventus and maybe Inter Milan and AC Milan, I don't think anybody else has won the Italian league in 30 years.
Yeah, like that's crazy.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, and another example, like the Premier League's a little different because it's
the Italian league is Serie A, right?
Yes, Serie A, yeah. And then, but like for example, like the French league, PSG wins the French league every year. It's not even a discussion. That's just it is what it is. Like look up some of these. Like,
I'm trying to look up. I'm trying to look up the.
Go look up like
Serie A champion history. This is insane.
It's Juventus.
They've won every year since 2011, 2012. Prior to that, AC Milan or Inter Milan had won every year. It's pretty much switches between Inter Milan, AC Milan, and Juventus. What's the other league? What's the one that PSG, the French league?
So yeah, the French league. I'm going to tell you right now. The PSG has won the French league. It's probably 15 years in a row. Do you know what I'm saying? So like that's where it gets kind of. I see both sides of it. It's like this league literally wouldn't even exist. It would exist, but it wouldn't. It's like the football quality isn't there because the other teams aren't very good. There's.
That's not the case with the EPL though, right? I mean, isn't there some parity in the Premier League?
No, there's some parity in the Premier League. You got like Real Madrid. The EPL is the best league in the world.
But you also have a higher concentration of talent in the Premier League, right? You have more talent, or I guess more talent spread across, right?
Yeah.
It's like the best players or a lot of the best players are playing there, so you have more chance for competition. Whereas in PSG's league, there's probably not nearly as much talent. I'm looking at it. PSG's won every year since 2012. Monaco randomly won in 2016.
Okay, yeah.
But they beat PSG.
So look, the difference here is one of the if you're a top 5 player in the world,
yep.
There's multiple teams you could go to in the Premier League. If you're going to go to the French league, you're going to one team. PSG. If you want to go play in Italy, you're 9 times out of 10 you're going to go play. You're going to go to Juventus. It's just what it is. If you're going to Germany, you are by far, bar none, going to go play for Bayern Munich. That's just what it is.
Is there another good team in Germany?
Dortmund is another really good team.
Okay.
Dortmund or Bayern Munich have won the Bundesliga.
I'm pulling them up right now.
Yeah, same type of situation, right? So that's where it gets interesting because it's these other teams in these leagues are absolutely zero competition.
Oh my God, Bayern Munich wins it every year. They've won it every year since 2012.
Yeah, so you know what I'm saying? So it's that's where it gets kind of interesting, where it's we win everything anyway. Let's just start playing each other in the same league, making our own money and printing our own money. Because we do that, we have the best support. We have everybody that loves us anyway. But that's why you have competitions like the Champions League, where the top teams from the top leagues play in a tournament, and then that's essentially the most prestigious European trophy, the Champions League, right? Yep. So it's an interesting thing. I don't know if it would work over here, but I think if they actually got it to go and run off the ground, the Super League would work. People would watch because they'd have no choice, and that's what it is. And then people would forget, and that's it.
For sure. People are gonna watch it.
Yeah.
People hated the college football playoff. They're like, "Oh, this I don't." They're watch that. People, it doesn't matter. People enjoy the sport. They're gonna watch it. Yeah, they're gonna watch. Who is Lewandowski on Bayern Munich? This dude wins the scoring title every year. Is he cold?
Yeah, Lewandowski is cold. Yeah,
it's cold.
Yeah, Lewandowski is cold. They just won Champions League last year.
Yeah, this dude is cold. I'm looking him up.
But
people are gonna watch. Yeah, look. Even Buddy, who's over here, the American, you're not going to stop watching the sport,
right?
But I think, that's interesting, man. I think there's probably a large segment of them that are very, very wary of this American influence coming in, and obviously this doesn't do anything to help.
I thought that was interesting.
That was real interesting, man. All the American teams.
All of a sudden, all the American owners are coming over here trying to ruin what we got going on.
They're all fucking finance guys. Everything's a number. This number doesn't look right. You told me this thing is hot. I could be making more money.
Yeah.
That's why I was asking about, would they start doing some shit in the United States? We don't know what these people are capable of.
Right. So it's interesting. It's definitely interesting.
But it looks like it's not going to happen. So business as usual.
Business is slowing up. So. Real quick, before we get out of here, a couple minutes, I wanted to ask you about where do you stand on that Trevor Lawrence tweet? Or essentially the report was Trevor Lawrence came out and there was a report that, Trevor Lawrence made a statement, football's not my life is essentially the overarching theme of it. I have other things I like to do, this, that, and the third. And then he had to come out and clarify that, obviously – football is a huge priority in my life, and I'm gonna, I want to win Super Bowls essentially. Yada yada yada. What was your thought? Where do you stand on guys that put out in the atmosphere I'm a football guy, but I got other shit I like to do too?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of one of those things where you want guys to be real and authentic, right? And I think a big misconception, probably mostly among fans, right, is that all these guys live, breathe, eat, sweat football. That's all they care about. Just like a lot of people in their jobs, they do it because they're good and it makes them money, right? This person might not love the law, but they're a good fucking lawyer. This person might not care about medicine, but they're a great doctor, and it gets them paid and it allows them to do other things in their life, whatever the case may be, right? I think with football, just the expectation is that you're so all in, right? It's all you think about. You can't do anything else outside of football. And I think when you hear a guy, especially a quarterback, and you said this in the group chat, when you hear a quarterback say that, for right or wrong, it raises red flags because you want your quarterback to be rah-rah, Mr. Football, Mr. Tom Brady, this is all I do. And when you hear a quarterback kind of say, hey, this might not be the case. It's like, wait.
Because
so this guy's not going to spend 16 hours a day at the facility. Like,
say what you want.
What happens
bro.
when he starts having kids and a family? What happens when we give him a first big contract and money doesn't matter anymore?
Say what you want. Yeah. For me, it rubs me the wrong way. Especially if I'm a guy that I know my team is going to take this guy number one. You know what it sounds like to me, bro? When shit gets real rough and rugged, you're not going to dig in like that. You're like, you know what?
I don't.
I'm good because you've already told me that this is not your life. You like it. You're really good at it. And I've always been good. I've been that guy for years on years now. I'm going to be the number one pick. I know that. I got a national title. I'm married. Life is good. You just don't. It's hard for a guy, for me to trust that you're going to get really, you're going to dig in when shit gets really rough in the media and the fans are rough and your coach sucks and your receiving core sucks. And it's hard for me to tell. Like a guy like Baker Mayfield, I trust that. For hell or high water, he's going to try to make some shit happen.
See, but I don't get that. I don't think Lauren's saying that. See, I don't take that part of it. I'm not like, I don't think he's going to dig in when time's to dig in because it's still, I mean, he obviously has up until this point to get to this point, right? And if football didn't matter and if it was something that he didn't want to work at, and we've seen the photos, obviously Trevor comes from some money. They got the exposed ankles in the suit that Eli sent us or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You see the vibe. Like they got the money. But obviously he grinded to get to this point. I don't see it as him like, I'm not going to dig in when it matters. I don't think you necessarily need to have something be your end all be all for you to dig in, right? I disagree with that, man. I don't think it needs to be that way. I think there's almost something to be said about someone who is more well-rounded, right? Because when the going gets tough, is he going to swallow himself in it and actually go into a dark hole, right? Like
spiral.
Yeah, is he going to be like Mitch Trubisky, where it's like, I'm not doing good at the thing that I love so much that you need to turn the TVs off in the facility because I can't stand the sight of me sucking. You know what I mean? Like you almost get some people who are so wrapped up in it that like they can't handle failure because they have nothing else. Their whole identity is wrapped up in being a good quarterback. And like, so if he fails or he has a bad game, how is he going to respond to that? Or you have a more well-rounded individual who's able to compartmentalize and get back to work on Monday.
I just think that there's no reason for him to say that if he truly doesn't feel that way. And I also feel that it's just human nature. If you're not fully locked, you're not fully locked when some shit gets rough, especially.
I don't think that's him not being fully locked. It's just him not fucking football. Like, yeah, I see where you're coming from, man. But like, I don't think it speaks to how locked in he is or how he's gonna react when shit gets tough. I think it's just like, I'm not a jarhead like some of these other guys. You know what I mean? I'm not like a robot.
He doesn't need football. So that's essentially what I'm saying.
Why, because he's a rich kid?
Yeah, because he can do other things.
Yeah, but that's just assuming that people only play ball for money. Some of these dudes do play because they love it.
But that's what I'm saying. I didn't. That's the feeling that's coming off is like he doesn't love it like that. That's what I'm saying. That's how I read it. Like he likes it. It's fun. He doesn't love it like that. He doesn't love it like Ed Reed.
Yeah, whatever.
You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
for sure. Absolutely.
I think a guy like Ed Reed is a guy that loves it and he needs it. Like this is
Tom Brady. Tom Brady is only playing football right now for one reason.
I love it.
I have no other reason to play football.
But before that, it was like, man, he needed that to kind of keep that edge. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's my take on it. Put it like this: I'd rather not hear that shit.
For sure. But I think in one breath, we're like, we love it when guys are brutally honest. And the other hand, it's like, you shouldn't say that because it's the bad luck.
I do love it when you're brutally honest. But if that's how you feel, that kind of gives me a little little.
So if you're Urban Meyer, you're like, hey man, hold on, we need to get this guy in the room and see what the deal is, or you're like, I still feel comfortable.
No, I feel very comfortable.
If he wasn't, so you're saying if he wasn't a slam dunk #1, right? If this was Justin Fields who came out and said, well, he's.
I think the perfect. Come out and
say that, but yeah,
Justin Fields said that shit. He
I'm gonna be 7th round. He had to go back to Ohio State.
No, but I think like a perfect example of what I mean as the overall is Andrew Luck.
Yeah.
I get banged up. It's like, I don't need this shit, bro. I'm out of here. And we ain't heard from the man since.
But we don't know. I think that dude was fucking hurt. I think rehab. So you went through the ACL rehab, but you weren't actively playing. Could you imagine, like, the rehab, I think, is just like, you hear these guys describe rehab,
Yo,
and it sounds like the worst thing in the world.
You're missing what I'm saying. It might be the worst thing in the world.
If you love it, you're going to rehab.
But Andrew Luck is like, how about I go travel and hang out with my lady and read books?
They said he might come. His name never came up again.
You know what I'm saying?
When you brought that up when we were talking about this Trevor Lawrence thing in the group chat, I forgot that he existed.
It was just like, bro, I played football.
Yeah, I'm out.
Now I don't, and that's it.
I'm gone.
So, and I mean, look, and like I'm saying, this is just my opinion on what he's saying and kind of how it angles. But Andrew Luck didn't need football anymore. I'm good. Yo, if you really want to be 100, Andrew Luck wasn't built like that. He wasn't built like I gotta win a championship. He wasn't. He was just like, I'm out. I played fun. I had made a little money. I'm good. I'm out of here. Like certain guys could never do that. Certain guys can never walk away like that. And I think those are the top elite dogs that you want. So am I not saying that Trevor Lawrence could come in? You know what? He could have the exact same situation as Andrew Luck, and then he walked off, and he'd be like, "Hey man, he told you he don't need football like that."
I told you guys. You saw my exposed ankle.
Right.
I'm only here. Here. I want to
be. Right. You know what I'm saying? So it's interesting. It's just interesting. It's like, put like this: if I'm talking to him, and I hear that, he didn't have to tell me that. He didn't have to divulge that. And I thought it's something to just.
And wasn't his dad had said something too? Like his dad was like, yeah, he's just got a lot of other shit going on.
I think his dad was like, yeah, don't listen to what he said. He's no, this guy's a killer.
Trevor, what are you doing?
Exactly. Yeah.
Let's sign the contract first.
Right. So we'll see, man. It's going to be interesting. I'm interested to see him as a pro. Yeah. Because he started running the rock a ton towards the end of his career at Clemson. So we'll see how, he stands in there and rocks it. I'm interested, man. The NFL draft's in a couple weeks. We'll see what San Francisco moved up for. We'll do all that. Hold on. I got something in the comments. Yo, this is really, really quick, Nick. Give me this. Someone in the comments, I can't pronounce it. Kadiddle1 said, "Why do you think NFL ratings are tanking?"
NFL or NBA?
Or NBA. My bad.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean the ratings have been going down. They were going down last year. I think it's hard. I think people love the NBA, like the story of following the NBA. But I think if you asked a lot of people how many of them are actually sitting down watching games every night, it's far fewer. I just think that it's I don't know. I can't give you any scientific answer as to why, but I know that you would think that more people watch it based on the chatter around it, but I think more people follow it than actually watch it.
I haven't seen the numbers, but if this is that time of the year where it's like I even am like, man,
it's hard.
Get me to the playoffs now.
Yep.
Like, you know what I mean? So I don't know how, what time frame we're talking about, but it's interesting because
I was gonna say, it's like when you talk about ratings are down, it's like, does that actually it's hard. I don't know what you really compare it against other than past ratings, but I can tell you people watch TV less, number one, right? Like cord cutting, all that stuff. People are just out and about doing more stuff. Number two, like if you're comparing to like the NFL ratings going up, it's like, look, the NFL has a monopoly.
NFL was down too, though.
Yeah, but it's 9 hours on one day a week that the NFL just runs it. And it's just different, right? Like, so whereas people sit down and lock in and watch the NFL for 9 hours and watch the teams that aren't theirs and all that, when you get to the NBA, you just have a lot of people who just aren't going to sit down and watch the games.
Yeah, it's interesting. We can talk
Yeah.
about that. I
Yeah,
will do some more research on that because I do want to. That is an interesting
question.
point.
That is a good question.
Yeah, shout out
NBA person on to talk about that.
Yeah, I'm in it.
Yeah.
All right, that's it for No Catch Up. April 20th, 2021. Rest in peace, George Floyd. For Big Nick the Quick, I'm your host, Sean Little. Make sure you subscribe everywhere, man. You know what the time it is. Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcast, we're there. Lock in with us. No Catch Up Sports Talk via Chicago. I'm out of here.